Good grief. I'm sorry. Well, a second ago, I just looked and it was 10 minutes till. CQ. Hello, CQ, the old friends there. It's time for the Tuesday edition of the Old Friends Get Together, starting a minute or so late. Yeah, the Old Friends Net meets 3 times a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 9 a.m. on 3715, Sundays at 6 p.m. on 3715. And the net is carried out in amplitude modulation mode only. And while we're focused on vintage gear, anybody that can generate an AM signal is welcome to participate. This is a great place to sell stuff or trying to find something you're looking for, or maybe a bit or piece of something you're trying to fix. Plus, we've got a lot of knowledge base here for just about everything. So, anyway, it's carried out in the old-fashioned round table mode. We'll take check-ins here in a minute, and we'll get everybody seated at the table and go from there. So, if you would like to participate in today's event, please give W4MEC a call and come now.
Good morning, Charlie. WA4LLO.
N4LQ.
KZ4 Bravo.
K4GDN.
WB4ARK.
WB4NKL.
WA4EVK.
W4VRO.
N4OZI.
AF1E.
I need a repeat on that last station.
Alpha Foxtrot 1 Echo.
I got the Alpha Foxtrot, but the last part was distorted.
Alpha Foxtrot 1 Echo, AF1E.
Okay, gotcha. Anybody else? Got a nice loud clunk there. All right, so far I've got Dave, WA4LLR, Steve, N4LQ, John, KZ4 Bravo, George, K4GDN, Buddy, WB4ARK, Cliff, WB4NKL, a little light here this morning, Boone, WA4EVK, Ray, W4VRO, N4OZI. Oh, shoot, is that Chuck? I forgot. Look. And Alpha Foxtrot 1E. We'll have to get your details when it's your turn to transmit. Anybody else for round number 1?
Whiskey 4 Italy Tango.
Good grief. Either we got a real good path to Florida or you're visiting. W4IT. Steve. Any others? Okie dokie. So I'm going to go down the suffixes here and make a note of who's ahead of you and who to turn it to, and we'll carry on. We got LLR, LQ, 4 Bravo, GDN, ARK, NKL, EVK, VRO, OZI, I1E, and IT. So let me just double check. Any more? Nobody. This is Whiskey 4 Mike Echo Charlie, Henderson County, North Carolina, running my Apache, receiving on a Mohawk through a Heathkit tuner to a 80-meter dipole with window line, wet window line, by the way, and I had to make an adjustment this morning, and it seems to be holding. Let's see, what else? It's raining here. We had a nice day yesterday for the people that wanted to look at the Eclipse there. I punched a hole in a piece of cardboard and held it in front of a piece of white paper and said, yep, there it is, and went about my business working on my truck. But apparently they had the school kids terrified because my wife went up to pick up my grandson at the road, and he didn't even see her. He was like looking down all the way, and his mom didn't know that she went up there to get him, and he just got in his mom's truck and went back, and she said, what gives, Henry? You didn't even look at me. He says, well, they told us not to look at the sun, so I was being real careful. So they had them spooked at school. So let's get started with Dave, WA4LLR in the group, W4MEC.
Okay, Charlie. W4MEC and the group, WA4LLR. Well, good morning to everybody. This is Dave in Burnsville, North Carolina, where we have 50 degrees and rain. Running the F68, the PMR8 this morning, feeding that into the SB220, and coax feeding a dipole at about 50 feet. We did get to see part of the eclipse. We were in Asheville, and about the time it got to be maximum, we had a few breaks in the clouds, and I was outside the clinic where my wife was having a treatment, and I watched every now and then the staff would run out and look up with their eclipse glasses, and it was cloudy when I left the house, and just in case, I threw the sun scope in the back of the, well, I didn't throw it, I put the sun scope in the back of the car, and when it popped through a hole in the clouds, I jumped out and set it up real quick, and got several good views through breaks in the clouds, along with the staff out of the clinic there. So did to get to see probably 5 or 10 minutes of it in small chunks as breaks opened up, but it was worth looking at. So Steve, down to you. N4LQ, WA4LLR.
WA4LLR, N4LQ, running the Sun SDR this morning, but it is a vintage microphone, D104. And let's see, I saw the eclipse, or what there was of it, here in Shelby. It didn't amount to a hill of beans. As a matter of fact, at 1:30 when it was supposed to start, I decided to go take a walk, and I wondered if I should take a flashlight with me so I could see my way home, but I didn't even hardly notice. I mean, it just got a little bit kind of dim out. It's about all. I did use my camera to take some pictures, and I stood with my back toward the sun and used the back-facing side of the phone to take the picture, and it turned out pretty good, but it just looked like a big white ball because it had a cloud over it. So that was a bust, but I wonder about all this warning about this stuff, because what about the last 3,000 years or so, people have been looking at eclipse without all these warnings. I doubt if they knew about it. I would think there would have been millions of people blind all over the world, but I don't remember reading about that in history. Anyway, that's the deal here. Nothing exciting going on. Waiting for the mailman who didn't take my package yesterday that I had scheduled for pickup. So I called him this morning and had a little talk with him. And apparently when our regular mail lady is on vacation, they put this loser in charge, and he doesn't do his job. So, John, how are you this morning? KZ4B, N4LQ.
Okay, N4LQ in the group, KZ4 Bravo. Fine business, Steve. Conditions are great this morning. I mean, they're as good as I can remember. Wonderful. We did not use our arc furnace glasses to look at the sun. We watched it on television because we're not in the optimum path, and enjoyed it thoroughly in the living room. Shifting gears, my package finally came with my gold-plated tip jacks that cost $5.50 each from Surplus Sales of Nebraska. And of course, they're too tight to fit on a crystal prong. The ones that we got in Raleigh that look just like them, but they're not gold-plated, fit quite nicely. They're snug, but that's what you want. So we're in business next time we tear into the T150 as far as being able to upgrade the crystal socket, but the exotic ones are just slightly too tight. But they fit nicely on the tip jacks that you used to see on earphones, which are the ones that plug in the back of an HRO5. So they'll find their home there if needed. And we're running the usual rig today. I won't even go into it. And but conditions, it's just amazing. My noise level is the usual S9, and but people are piling in great. And by the way, the gentleman that looks after RFI for Duke Energy, Tim Craven, who is a distant neighbor, popped in yesterday afternoon unannounced, and he had found a noise source, but we're thinking it might be too far away for me to hear. But anyway, he looks after me as best he can, but of course my problem is next door neighbor, and that is not Duke Energy. So on that note, George, take it away. Let's see, K4GDN in the group, KZ4B over.
KZ4B in the group, this is K4GDN. And copying everybody pretty good this morning. There is some fast QSB here in Myrtle Beach. I'm running the Drake 4B system today. I guess when I tuned up, I had it set around 300 watts, so I'm probably peaking over that as far as the audio is, so being control carrier. And like I said, I'm copying everybody pretty well, but there is some QSB. We looked at the Eclipse yesterday using, we did some experiments with pinhole cameras where we varied the thickness of the material as well as the size of the hole. And it turns out there is a optimum hole size, unless you've got something to shade the thing that you're projecting it on. And thinner material works much better. Aluminum foil, you can get a good round hole in it. That seems to be the way. But that's kind of what I suspected would happen, because the thinner material gives you a sharper aperture. You don't have any refraction off the sides of the hole. But it was interesting. And we did see the total eclipse in 2017, so that we've seen it before. And it was kind of noticeable. You could tell it wasn't quite as warm as the thing progressed. And it was a slightly different hue to the sunlight. If you didn't know what was going on, you could feel the difference. So that was pretty interesting. So with that, buddy, we'll pass it on to you. WB4ARK in the group, K4GDN.
K4GDN, WB4ARK. Okay, George. Very good signals coming in today. Strong. And the band is extremely quiet here. So I wonder, well, I think it has to do with this cloud cover we've got, but we're not detecting any atmospherics at this point. We had a very good viewing of the eclipse yesterday. My wife and I stood on our back porch and watched the whole episode from start to finish, and it got up to almost 80%, I guess, and it got very the shadows in the yard became very long, and it was rather eerie looking. It looked very strange compared to what the shadows look like when it gets later in the afternoon. But it was we used welding glass to view the Eclipse. I've got several different shades of welding glass, and they worked quite well. I used an 8 and a 10 in back-to-back, so that produced a very pleasable, non-glaring view of the sun. So with that, we'll turn it over to WB4NKL, WB4ARK.
WB4ARK, WB4NKL. Okay, buddy. It's 52 degrees here and raining. We missed the eclipse yesterday. It was overcast and raining yesterday at the eclipse time. You couldn't even tell exactly what position the sun was in. It was so overcast, but it did get noticeably cooler and darker, and the temperature never did recover. After that, it sort of cooled off the rest of the day, seemed like. Good signals here today. I'm still running the command set, and seemed like the band might be a little long. I'm hearing George pretty good, and Charlie, he said I was a little weak. He was a little weaker here than normal also, so I think it's just conditions. So I'll send it on around. Go ahead, Boone. WA4EVK, WB4NKL.
WB4NKL in the group, WA4EVK. Thank you, Cliff. It's about 56 degrees here in Pickens. I'm running the usual AF68 into Swan Mark I linear with an SDR receiver. Great signals this morning all the way around. Cliff, a little weak, but I think I agree with you. The band is a little long. George is booming in here. Good audio, by the way, George. Like it when this goes on. I missed most of the hubbub yesterday at the Eclipse. I think this group will and keep from burning any components. So I finally came out and remembered that the Eclipse was going on, and paid a little bit of attention. To me, I'm partially colorblind, so the hue, the change in color of the sunlight was pretty weird to me. Definitely different. And with that, I'm going to send it on down to Ray. W4VRO to take it, WA4EVK.
WA4EVK and the net, W4VRO. Thanks, Boone, and good morning. AF68 sounds good this morning. Good morning, Charlie. And good morning to everyone on the net. Conditions are good. The band's quiet. And signals are good. Two stations are a little light, and I'm not copying them 100%. Cliff, I think maybe you're running a little lower power than usual. But I missed part of your transmission, Cliff, which is unusual for you. And I did not look for the eclipse yesterday. Actually, I forgot about it. I was busy, and I just forgot about it. Didn't expect to see much when I did think about it beforehand, and it just completely slipped my mind. The weather is a little bit weird. It looks like an eclipse outside here. The clouds are so thick, completely overcast. And a little sprinkle of rain much of the night, and light rain is still falling this morning. It's 59 degrees outside. Rig here is the usual rig I use on the net here, a Johnson 500, 350 watts carrier, hit to an inverted V antenna. Alan, good to hear you this morning. It's been a while since we've talked.
And I wonder how you're doing, and I wonder which rig you're using this morning. Good morning to AF1E and W4IT, two stations I haven't heard much on the net, so glad you're with us. N4OZI in the group, W4VRO.
Yeah, W4VRO. It's N4OZI. And yeah, it's good to hear you in there, Ray. Hadn't been on much. Sorry, I've been busy. Didn't see much on the Eclipse yesterday, nor did I expect much. So it lived up to my expectations. Been working on a deck out here in the woods by the fire pit. Previous owner built one, and the wood on it has gotten a little bit shady. So I stripped the wood off of it, left the frame. Frame looked in pretty good shape, and got Home Depot to deliver a truck-sized load of wood, and finally got the deck finished yesterday. And that last piece was a interesting cut, but got it, and it fit right into place, and everything looks good. And brought in all the tools and stuff, and got ready for the rain. And it's raining here slightly, and it's good to have a respite. That was a big project. I still have a workbench over there. I mean, a workbench, a bench on the other side of the fire pit that is about 10 feet long. I got to rebuild, but that shouldn't be nearly as difficult as that deck was. That deck was huge. But it's got all new wood. I'm going to let it sit over the summer, and then this fall I can stain it, and I can say that project is just about done. Great to hear everybody, and certainly not much else going on here. I know everybody had a great, those that went to Raleigh had a great time. I was able to link Nick England's photos on my QRZ page. And looking forward to Dayton. I'm going to go up to Dayton and take some pictures with the little drone and the camera, and that'll be a lot of fun. I got to finish getting my plans ready for that. I'll make this my one and done, and I'll say 73 Charlie. Appreciate you calling it, and I'll send it over to AF1E to take it. It's N4OZI.
Yeah, this is AF1E. Good evening to all on the old FriendsNet. This is Joe, Juliet Oscar Echo, and I'm located in Conover, North Carolina, just north of Charlotte. Was having lunch last week with my friend K3OS Gary, and he told me about you all, so I thought I'd try to join this week. I'm on new equipment here. I've got my K4D, using it on AM, and I'm not sure I've ever used it on AM yet, so we'll see how it sounds. I have right beside me, it's not connected right now, but my T4X and R4A, which is the older R4A with 13 tubes in it, and I'm the original owner of it. So I'd love to use my Drake gear, and I've got an L4B. If you look at my QRZ page, you'll see pictures of my nice glowing tubes, but not doing that today. Very good. I appreciate joining the group. We had a good viewing of the Eclipse yesterday, in spite of some clouds, but it was good. Not like in 2017 where we were in Nashville and we're in totality and had several minutes of totality. It was really amazing, and but it was fun. We had a good time yesterday. What else? We used to have a sailboat, so familiar with about the sun. And interestingly enough, in old times, the fishermen used to go blind early because of looking at the reflection off the water from the sun before they invented sunglasses. And the thing about sun damage from an eclipse, it's slow and long term, so people probably didn't live long enough in the early days to know that they had done some damage, I suspect. But the fisherman thing is interesting, how the invention of sunglasses helped fishermen from going blind. A little bit of trivia for you all. Anyway, I'll pass it on to Steve, I believe it is, W4IT in the group AF1E.
Yeah, good morning, AF1E in the great group, W4IT. I'm sorry, guys, I am not Florida DX this morning. I am in Gray Court, South Carolina, my original QT8. And we brought a radio up here and threw it in the shack. We still got antennas. and thought we would see if we could check in here with control carrier. Hope y'all copying okay, because this little Alinco DX70 is a bit of a almost Chinese radio, really, a pretty Chinese radio in solid state. So there you go. I generally use it mobile in another car, but I had taken it out recently. So there you go. Yeah, I missed the Eclipse yesterday, and I was outdoors. I was mowing and trying to beat the rain deadline for today. And I did, thank goodness, with my major mowing on this side of the highway, the road, and I got a few more acres to mow on the other side, but that's not critical like the home place here. But anyway, just running low power here, maybe 30, 40 watts at best probably. Control carrier, name is Steve, Sugar Tango Echo Victor Echo. Home QTH now is Fort White, Florida, and we are set up there. Finally got my old transmitter there back on the air with audio again. It had a problem in the audio circuit with that old radio, an old can't even remember the name of it now. But anyway. Hopefully, occasionally when it's good from Florida, we'll be able to check in. It's sure nice to be here where there's no real crackly atmospheric noise on 75 meters, or 80 meters here almost, and so forth. So the rain, about mid-50s, intermittent drizzle, and looks like it's going to be a long day of slow rain. Well, back it comes there, Charlie, to you, I think. I'm telling Steve. Great to hear all you guys. It warms my heart to hear all y'all again. It's been about 7 years since I was here. Exactly. W4MEC. Charlie, go ahead. W4IT with the net.
Very good, Steve. W4IT in the Old Friends Group, W4MEC. Do we have any others that would like to check in? Come now.
Morning, Charlie, W4KR.
Okay, we got Stan. Anybody else? Okay, Stan, go ahead and make a transmission. You'll be after Steve, W4IT, on the next go-round, then turn it back to me. W4KR, W4MEC.
Okay, Charlie, good morning. W4MEC and the Old Friends Group for Tuesday morning, W4KR. Temperature here is 60 in Walhalla, humidity about 65%. So it was a little lower earlier, going up a little bit. And it's overcast and rainy, or drizzly, and didn't see much. We had quite a bit of cloud cover yesterday afternoon. The last one, a few years ago, we were in a perfect spot, and it was a beautiful day, and no clouds at all, and we were, I think, at about the 99th percent of what the track was. So we had in fact we had a bunch of folks here had quite a day out of it. With that, Charlie, back to you, and I'm just sitting here listening. Steve, good to hear you. It's been a long time, and AF1E, welcome. W4MEC, W4KR.
Very good. One more check. Any others like to join us? Check coming now. Okay. Let's see. W4KR and the Old Friends, W4MEC. Real good, fellas. Good round there. Man changed a little bit. Steve boomed in when he checked in, but he was a little light there. And Cliff sounded a lot better. So maybe things are changing there. Let's see. Welcome to Joe over there in Conover. When you first checked in, I honestly could not understand you. It sounded like you were overdriving something, but on that last transmission, the audio sounded perfect to me. So if you made an adjustment, you made the right one. So And good on the Drake gear. We've got a couple Drake owners, including myself, and Boone, WA4EVK, is a big Drake owner. I think he's got a trailer full of them, pending projects. And I've got a C-line here that I've owned since 1980, and bought secondhand from AES. I did corrupt the receiver a little bit. I put some Sherwood mods in it, the audio stage, a roofing filter, and the AGC circuit, and it is an early 4C with a low serial number, so the 12 volts coming out of it is a little bit low, but it runs the audio stage okay. It's right at 12 volts is what it is, and I think the Sherwood mod wanted a little more than that, but it works. Let's see, parts. I always, because Boone mentioned this, digging in the chassis to get parts out, I always got this joke and about cars. The first thing on the assembly line is the dashboard, and they built the car around it, because if you've ever had to work under the dash, it's just impossible to figure how they got all that junk in there after they got the car put together. But I'm working on that HX50. It's got a bad 5 microfarad capacitor on the audio stage, and I think it was the first capacitor they installed in the radio. It is so buried down in the bottom, I don't know how I'm going to get to it. So I'm thinking I'll just clip it out and see if I can stick a long lead in there and tack solder it to the tube pin and figure out where to run ground to, but it is just about impossible to get to. And as Boone said, digging around or removing parts just to get to one is a pain. So let's see. And Steve, glad to hear you're back, and I guess you're cutting the grass. Is that your annual grass cut? But we're still meeting on 6 meters on Tuesday night. But I won't be there tonight, Boone, so it's kind of thinned out a little bit. We've just a couple check-in at the most now, and in the heyday of it, we had like 10 or 12, and then the band would open up and have a field day on DX on AM, so anyway. Okay, so let's go around again with WA4LLR in the group, W4MEC.
Okay, Charlie, W4MEC and the group, WA4LLR. Well, good deal. And Joe, welcome. Sounding great from Conover. And I concur with Charlie. When you first checked in, it sounded like you either had a speech processor on or you were overdriving a little, but now the audio is pristine, so it sounds great. Steve, good to hear you again. Good morning, Stan. Glad you joined us. Everybody's sounding really good. No issues with anybody here. Sounds like most of us saw the eclipse in one way or other, with the exception of Cliff and those that had forgotten it. So I'm amazed. The early weather forecast, I didn't think many people would see it out in this part of the country, but we had some breaks, so we did get to do that. Anyway, our space weather today, sunspot count is 79, solar flux index is 125, and the K was 3 the last time I checked. So it's kind of quiet, and that's good for 80 meters. A few items of interest from this day in history. On this day in 1865, Robert E. Lee surrendered in Appomattox, Virginia, which brought the Civil War to an end. And this is kind of an interesting one. The next year, 1866, Ulysses S. Grant was arrested for speeding in his horse and buggy. Oh man! On this day in 2003, Baghdad fell to U.S. forces. On this day in 1959, NASA introduced America's first astronauts. On this day in 1881, Billy the Kid was convicted of murder. On this day in 1859, Mark Twain received his steamboat pilot's license. On this day in 1942, U.S. troops surrendered to the Japanese in Bataan, in the largest ever U.S. surrender. On this day in 1940, Germany invaded Norway and Denmark. And on this day in 1945, anti-Nazi theologian Dietrich Bonhoeffer was hanged. So there you go, a few things from this day in history. Steve, down to you. And the Sun SDR sounds good. N4LQ, WA4LL.
WA4, LLR N4LQ. All right, Dave, thank you. You must have a real big pile of newspapers there to dig all that out. Let's see here. One of the things wife and I were talking about yesterday as far as this eye damage goes was that due to the darkness, your pupils dilate, and then when you look at the sun, it's harder on your eyes. That's one factor, but I think Joe had a good point there about the blindness or the damage to the eye being gradual, and you don't notice it until years later. And about the fishermen, I thought that was interesting. As far as the drakes go, I had a Drake R4A 13 tuber here, and I was told, and I think it's true, that the AGC on that particular Drake model was better for CW than any of the other ones. And from what I could tell, I operated a few times on CW at a pretty good clip, and it seemed to be the case. But I sold it like everything else. Still got my 2B, and I'll probably hang on to that for the duration. I got a soft spot for Drake 2Bs. Anyway, and John fine on the tip jacks for a crystal socket on a T150. I don't know what that's all about, but I know you told me about this contraption you built to hold the crystals in from falling out. So you're really into that, I guess. But anyhow, you're sounding good this morning, and I'll turn it over to you. KZ4B, N4LQ.
Okay, N4LQ in the group, KZ4B, fine business. Steve, you're booming in as usual. I guess it was Sunday, you were very weak. I don't know what you were running, but today you're back to normal and turning it. Speaking of signal strengths, Joe in Conover, AF1E, you are one of the stronger signals here. And I think W4IT Steve's Alenco DX70 is doing a great job for barefoot. Steve, I'm running Alenco on 160 meters because my T150 night transmitter won't go below 80. So nice to have a brother Alenco operator. There aren't many of us out there on AM. And George, very strange. You were very Q5 on the last transmission, but you had a high-speed flutter type QS Baker. The peaks and valleys were less than a second apart. It was almost, it kind of reminded me of waves. And, most QS Bakers kind of slowly up and down, but yours was just up and down, up and down, up and down. And kind of a rare collector QS Baker. Enough on that. And it's a yucky day here today, and we're so glad we got our grass cut yesterday for the 8th time this season. And the grass is just jumping out of the ground. And if we had waited one more day, like if it had been sunny today, I would have needed a bush hog. And I guess that's most of what I wanted to comment on. I discovered that, like I say, Tim Craven with Duke popped in unannounced, and I hooked up my 20, 15, and 10 meter rotatable beam and spun it around and couldn't hear any change in the noise. Come to find out today that I was receiving on the PALSTAR PR30, and I didn't have it hooked to the antenna, and I wondered why it was so quiet. So I need to repeat that experiment. Tim said if I located a direction where the noise peaked to calling, which I will do, it should nail it from next door, and with the solar system. But so anyway, over to you, George. Nice copy with the flutter. K4GDN and the group KZ4B, over.
KZ4B and the group's K4GDN. And the flutter you're seeing might be your receiver's AVC with this control carrier, because when I'm not talking, even on the meter on my directional coupler, it drops down to less than 20 watts, and when I'm talking, it's peaking on the meter over 150, and I'm sure it's higher than that if I had a real peak meter. But that might be what the QSB is all about. I do understand that the control carrier does give receiver AVC some trouble sometimes. And everybody's coming in here pretty good today. And I'd like to welcome Joe and Steve there. Your signals are coming in here well into Myrtle Beach, the third world, as a matter of fact. And I'd like to comment, I did enjoy getting to the meeting last week, the lunch. That was really a good thing. I don't get up very often, but when I do, I like to come to the meeting. So with that, I'm going to pass it on to you, buddy. WB4ARK in the group K4GDN.
K4GDN, WB4ARK. Okay, George. Well, it's not raining here yet. Looks like it could at any moment. Very heavy outside looking. Clouds are pretty thick, overcast. And Joe, you've got a good signal into Lake Wiley, South Carolina, where I'm located. It's just south of Charlotte. And I'm running an ART-13, receiving on a R390A horizontal dipole up about 60 feet. And the name here is Buddy. So, Steve, good to hear you back again. Steve in Gray Court. We've got two Steves on. And it's been a good while since I've heard you. Your 30 to 40 watts is very readable here in Lake Wiley. So I think I've gone over about everything. We didn't have any cloud covers yesterday. No cloud cover at all during the eclipse, which was very good. There was some off to the west of us, but we didn't have any right here. So that was marked a great occurrence. And we saw another eclipse here, I forget when it was, and watched it from the same place in the backyard, standing on the steps of our porch. And so that marks two occasions we've seen an eclipse here at this house. Well, I'm going to say 73, and hope everybody has a great upcoming week. And over to WB4NKL, WB4ARK.
WB4ARK, WB4NKL. Hey, buddy, I guess that was 2017, last eclipse. We had some of the sunglasses that was from the last one that had the date on them. I think it was in August 2017. good copy all the way around here. Had several reports of weak signal there, so I checked the standing wave on the antenna, and everything looks good here. It's about 65 watts out, and low standing wave, and trains coming through. Might be overmodulating me. I'll go ahead and sign out. It's raining pretty good here. I missed mowing the yard yesterday because of rain, and it sure needs it. I've mowed a couple of times already, but the grasses are growing, and it's going to be hard to get it in this week. They're calling for a chance of rain about every day. So if I don't get it, it's going to get, like John said, it's going to have the bush hog out. 73s, enjoyed it. Thanks for calling it, Charlie. Go ahead, Boone. WA4EVK, WB4NKL.
Thank you, Cliff. WA4EVK. Not much else here, just watching it rain. Looks like we got about 3 days of it, so I've got plenty of stuff to do here on the bench and around. That's about it with me, and I'm going to sign also. I'm sure that the XYL's got plenty for me to do this morning. Just the way it works. And with that, I'm going to send it on over to Ray. W4VR to take it, WA4EVK.
WA4EVK and the net, W4VRO. Boone, I have a quick question for you, if you can give me a break on it. I keep forgetting to ask you this. Several times when I've been in Pickens or going through Pickens, I pull into McDonald's, get a cup of coffee, and while I'm ordering or waiting to order, I look over to the right, and there's the backyard of a house which faces the one road over, and in that backyard is a pretty good antenna farm, including a 6-meter beam pointed north. Is that your backyard, Boone? Over.
Negative. I've been remiss. I need to look that guy up and see who it is. I've never met him, believe it or not. I'm on the next ridge to the north, on the ridge top, a mile or two away to the north. Over.
Okay, got it. Well, I'm glad to have that cleared up, and I should have done the same thing. Many times I've thought I need to knock on the door and see who that is. But I know about where you are, about a mile or so north of that. So very good. Stan, good morning to you. Good to hear you. And a good round. Several stations I'm not copying 100%. But Cliff, on that transmission, the noise level here is S1, very quiet this morning. And Cliff, you're not moving the S meter this morning, but I copied about 90% of your transmission, so that worked. And one other question for the net, and then I'll move on. When is the Hamfest in Spartanburg at the fairgrounds? It used to be the Greenville Hamfest. I don't know what it's called now. But I think I missed that one this past year, and it's one I've enjoyed, so I don't want to miss it again this year. Started to look it up on the internet, and like many things, got sidetracked. I'm sure several of you know. If you could pass that date on to me, I'd appreciate it. And 73's to Buddy, if you're still listening, Buddy. And Alan, you're probably already checked out. 73 to you. And Charlie, thanks for calling the net. It's been a good one this morning. Good to hear all of you. I'll be listening for a few minutes, probably till the end of the net. And date for the Greenville Hamfest. That's my question. And with that, over Alan sign, so over to AF1E and the net, W4VRO.
Alan, you still with us in 4OZI, W4MC?
No, he signed, Charlie.
Okay, I missed that. Oh, you're right, I did. Anyway, let's see. Joe, you still with us? AF1E, W4MEC. Okay, no Joe.
Radio. Sorry about that. This is AF1E. And hopefully it's all fixed now. Oh, boy. sorry about that. My problem earlier when they had the distortion was I had the compression cranked up on the K4. Those who don't know it, the K4 uses CESSB, controlled envelope single sideband, which means you can run the compression at max and not have any distortion. Well, it doesn't work on AM, obviously, but you get an extra 4 dB of power output when you do that, and that's what I was doing. And just before you turned it over to me, I hit a button, and I did a split up 5. So not good when you do that. Anyway, what else I got here? Commented on the audio. I'm using a Heil mic, a PR 751. With my Drake gear, I use one of the few people that doesn't use a D104. I actually use an EV664, Electro Voice 664 mic, and I've always used that over the years and love it. What else? And the AGC on the R4A, yeah, it's pretty good. It's a darn good receiver. Not a big step from the 2B, but it was the next in line from the 2B. And but I've had good times with mine, so that's it here. Hey, I want to say thank you all for letting me in today, and I will pass it on to Whit and say 7-3 to all. I'll have a good week because I got some things I need to do. W4IT in the group. Steve, take it. This is AF1E.
Yeah, okay. Good morning again. AF4E with the Old Friends group, W4IT. Steve in Gray Court, South Carolina. I guess I'm W4IT portable for officially, I suppose. Very good, everyone. Great copy. I tell you what, guys, I got my hat's off to all the beautiful audio of everyone. And the noise is just so low here, and the signals just jump out of this solid state rig. I hardly ever use it on AM. And when I have, it has been on 6-meter AM a little bit, but that's it. But anyway, yeah, it's control carrier and so forth. And I appreciate the comments about my friend there with the other DX70 Alinco. They're pretty good. I actually have a couple of them. I won one of them, oddly enough, from the Western Carolina Hamfest one year. So, and then I bought another one off of eBay. But and enjoyed using both of them. Got problems with one of them, but I'll get around to fixing that. It just has a 6-meter problem. I don't know what that is. I think it's from the relay, the antenna circuit for the relay stuff. But anyway, fine business on that. You finally found your crystal socket for the T150 transmitter for regular crystals. That's good. I'll have to remember that because I plan to get some crystals, and that leads me to the next question. That is about where is the easiest place to find, if any, FT247 crystals, FT247 crystals, because I need one for 3715 for Florida, because there is times that I can get into here, depending on conditions. Let's see. Cliff, man, that was great hearing the train whistle. That was cool. I can just see it pretty close to your place there, because it's pretty loud. Very interesting. And as far as the Drakes, yeah, I got a stable full of them. I keep a TR4C on the operating table there in Florida, and the Drake TR4C twin. TR4B, the TR4B twin, C4XB and R4B. I'm not lucky enough to have the later C's on those, but it's a nice pair. I run them mostly on CW though. And I got a TR4CW that's got a problem in it. I can't seem to get good drive through on one or two of the bands. I don't know what's happened there, but it's really nice. And I really like that CW filter in it. That's pretty much it from here. I'll try to check in tonight, Charlie, on the 6-meter AM. You might comment on who runs the AM net, who will be the net control tonight, where I'll know where to look with my Yagi. And the other answer to a question is I always try to come home here from Florida to the Greenville Hamfest, formerly in Anderson, now in Spartanburg. And last year, unless I'm mistaken, they did not have it. I don't know what happened. But if they had it, I missed it. But it definitely wasn't the first weekend in May like it usually is. So there you go. All right. Not sure who follows me. I guess I'll throw it to Charlie. I don't think we had newcomers. W4MEC. Great to hear you guys, and I'll hang around if you do a third round. W4IT.
Okay, Steve, W4IT and the old friends, W4MEC. Real good. Do we have any late check-ins that would like to join us for the 73 round? Come now.
Did Stan sign out?
No, you're correct. Yeah, Stan, you still with us? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, Charlie. W4MEC, W4KR. Ray, Dave, thanks, guys. Appreciated that. Appreciated your comment. I didn't mention before, this is a Viking 2 and a 183D. And I got to get into the 183D. There's something rattling around in there. I think it's in the audio section. There's a capacitor or a resistor that has gotten old and tired and is barking a little bit. I always get amused when the subject of the Spartanburg Hamfest comes up, which I think is put on by the, what do they call that club? The Blue Ridge Radio Club in Greenville. We were here maybe just a couple of months, way back. It's like 16, 17 years ago. We were here just a couple months, and I discovered that thing was on. So my wife and I jumped in the car and drove over there. And I saw one very big as we pulled into the parking lot. Said, well, we won't be here too long. And she said, well, tell you what, I want to go in. I want to go in and go to the bathroom, and I'll come back to the car. So you go ahead in. And okay. So we went up to where they were selling tickets to get in, and I said I was going in, and I said, by the way, do you mind if my wife comes in and uses the restroom? And the answer was, if you don't have a ticket, you can't get in the gate. I said, you got to be kidding me. And he said, nope, those are the rules. I said, okay, fine. Give me my money back. So we just got back in the car and took off. Never been back to that sucker. Maybe a good one, maybe a good club, maybe somebody having a bad day. I don't know which. It doesn't really matter anymore. Long, but one of those things not forgotten about. Anyway, let's see. I'm not going to be around much for the next month. I've got a lot of stuff to do here. We're going to be doing a little traveling. I got a little bit of medical stuff in the family, all going on. So I'm not going to be around very much. Hope I have a couple 3 hours to get into this receiver though. With that, Charlie, back to you, and good morning, everybody. We shall see you, George. George, good signal over here this morning, by the way, from way over yonder. And of course, Ray, you're blasting through as usual. Take care, everybody. We shall see you when we can. W4MEC, this is W4KR 73.
Okay, Stan, W4KR, W4MEC. And, let's see, several folks checked out. And I think Cliff checked out, Alan's checked out, Stan's checked out. I think Joe said he checked out. Anyway. Real good, fellas. And by the way, the Lenco is made in Japan, not China. So at least the Elenco I have is made in Japan, so there's a little quality there. I actually own one, and I use it for a mobile rig and a portable rig. And it's kind of light on AM. I think it only runs like 30 watts. But it does great on sideband, and I've actually worked into Russia on sideband just driving around in Hendersonville on 20 meters, of course, when band was open. But I actually made a couple QSOs one day just driving on Upward Road. So anyway, let's see, what else do I got here? The 6-meter net is kind of loosey-goosey, Steve. We kind of just show up at 8 p.m. on 50.4. And I will not be there tonight. I got another meeting to attend, and a lot of times it's if we remember to get on there, or if we're asleep to wake up and get on there. So a lot of times I forget. Boone forgets. Another fellow over there, Lyle N4QE, he checks in. Glenn N4AK check in now and then. But Jim, K4DEE, is having some health issues, and he's pretty much not on the air right now. And he's relocating to Florida. He's moving to Sanford area due to the health, and he wants his daughter wants him down there where she can keep an eye on him. So he's abandoning his place in Easley there and having to give up his antennas and all that. So it's kind of heartbreaking on his part there. So hopefully he can get set up down there with something. Let's see. I got other notes here. That's about it. Since we're at 10 o'clock, everybody wants to move on in the rain here. And let's see. Spartanburg Hamfest. Yes, it's totally kaput. The club itself has pretty much gone to the ham radio CB, which is basically 2 meters, and that's all they do is 2 meters and chit chat on 2 meter FM. So they could care less about anything else, and they gave up the club there. There's 2 clubs down there, and that's the one that runs that used to run the fest is not the one that runs. It's the more popular one. That's down there. That's still kicking pretty good. But yeah, it used to be a good Hamfest. And anyway, so we'll do the 73 round and we'll shut her down. WA4LLR in the group, W4MEC.
All right, Charlie. W4MEC in the group, WA4LLR. All right. Well, enjoyed it this morning. Good propagation. Charlie, thanks for calling the net. Everybody have a great day, and Lord willing, we'll see you on Thursday, 7-3, and God bless. N4LQ, WA4LLR.
Okay, Dave. Yep, same here. Everybody have a great day. We'll see you again on Thursday. 73s from N4LQ, and over to John, KZ4B. Take it away.
Okay, N4LQ in the group, KZ4B. Same here. Got to hit the road running. 73, thanks for calling the net, Charlie. And George, if you're still in there, K4GDN, take it away. KZ4B clear.
KZ4B, K4GDN. And Charlie, thanks for calling the net. 73, look forward to seeing everybody on Thursday. And let's see, who checked out here? Yeah, Buddy's gone. Maybe Boone's still in there, so if you're there, take it away, Boone. WA4EVK, K4GDN.
WA4EVK. No, I signed WA4EVK clear. Thanks, George.
Well, he faded out on me. W4VRO, you still there?
Still listening. Enjoyed it, Charlie. Thanks for calling in at 73. W4VRO clear.
Okay, Ray, thanks for joining us. That leaves Steve, W4IT. You're the end of the line here today.
Okay, very good. It's W4IT Portable Cord. Okay, Charlie, very good. Tail end Steve. That's the guy that always gets shot down in dogfights, man. He's the first one they pick on if they don't want to bust the crowd up. All righty, very good. Let's see. One quick question on Thursday morning is 9 a.m. on this frequency, over.
That's correct. Thursday at 9 a.m., same frequency.
All righty. You say every day?
No, it's Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday.
Okay, and Sunday is also 9 a.m.?
Yes, sir. 9 a.m. on Thursday and 6 p.m. on Sunday.
Oh, okay. 6 p.m. on Sunday. Okay. Very good. I used to work, so I never checked in to 9 a.m. Now I'm retired, of course. Okay, Charlie, we'll let you and all the other great guys go. Again, beautiful signal, beautiful audio from everyone, and no high status level like I have there in north central Florida. It's a world of difference. It was a pleasure to hear such good AM audio. 73's a good evening, everyone. Y'all have a great week, and God bless us all. W4MEC and the old friends net, W4IT will be clear. So thanks for the update on Jim. 73.
Okay, Steve, very good. Quite a few of the fellows from this group meet on 160 meters nightly at 1864, 1.864 megahertz, 1864 kilohertz, and I think they use AM unless things get bad, then they go to sideband, so you might give a listen. The Crystal, try AF4K, was Alpha Foxtrot 4 Kilo. The original business is still online. The website is still there, but there is an alternative because the person bought the company and uses the same AF4K in his internet address, so make sure you get the right one. He's still in business making crystals. He might have the one you're looking for, but don't get sidetracked by the old site, because while it seems to work, it doesn't, and there's nobody there. So 7-3 all. We'll look for you on Thursday morning. Thanks for everybody.